I love you as well. F1 2019 is finally with us, and of course you'll be seeing lots of coverage all over the internet now. Lots of the F1 and the racing gamers getting their hands on the final game, and it's a game that's been very much kept sort of behind closed doors, really. I mean, we've seen sort of minimal clips here and there, but not a lot of coverage, surprisingly. It's all been very sort of last minute, and now finally we can get our hands on. Only just the other day, of course, we were seeing some of the Formula 2 action, but here we are then with F1 2019, our hands on, and I'm going to take you through some of the options. I'm going to kind of rush through this first part of just arranging your driver and looking at the different faces and trying to decide who you want to be for your eternity through the game of nationality, whatever it ends up being. I've no idea. And of course whacking your name and your details in and stuff like that. So lots of options you got to fill in at first. Generally I don't like doing all this. I prefer to wait until I actually go into the career mode. Sometimes I just want to dive into a race and then decide what you want to be called as well. I didn't actually look to see if Alan was in there. It should be, but it never is. Boo, Codemasters, sort it out. It was in the original grid. So going through the options and the menu screens here, slowing it down to normal speed now. And really nice polished options. I mean, it really does look much nicer this year. You know, you can tell they've had sort of skilled artists really studying what works, how it works, and giving it that sort of F1 feel. You know, working with Liberty Media, I guess, to have some continuity in the style and the graphics, the imagery, the look, the feel. Very professional, very polished. It does feel like an extension of the F1 sport itself. Going into the but we're going to go in now to the Formula 2, and let's listen to a bit of Anthony Davidson.
In F1 2019 you'll be invited to start your career by selecting a Formula 2 team. Driving for this team you'll experience some key moments of a Formula 2 season, a thrill-packed racing championship in its own right, and the springboard to Formula 1. At the end of this feeder series, your choice of driver academy and your performance in F2 will determine the terms of the contracts offered by the teams as you embark upon your career in Formula 1 and begin to write your own chapter of motorsport history.
So thanks, Anthony, for the info there. Getting ready to go into Formula 2 then, where we kick off in our career, wanting to get ourselves a good slot in Formula 1. Then you've got to choose your team. I've sped this up as well because I just had a tinker having a look at different options, teams, options, who I could drive for. Wouldn't it be wonderful as a driver if you could just choose any team and choose any racing academy? And goodness, then it was after that it was setting up the race information, and then in a moment we'll just have a listen to the commentary here and get involved with the Formula 2 action. Let's see what that's all about.
Carlin's new driver really commanding the race here. Devon Butler still ruthlessly giving chase. These two have been really scrapping it out for the early wins in the championship. And something's wrong. Butler sees his chance. Some kind of mechanical failure. Picking up speed again. It's unclear what the issue was. Can they still finish this race?
Looks like an issue with the turbo. You've lost some speed at the top end, but you're very close to the finish. You can still compete and get some points here. Don't give up. Just do the best you can. We're all behind you.
Okay, viewers, so shock horror to some of you. I've got assist turned on. I have for this first race. I'm using a controller at the moment, and as many of you will know, when it comes to Formula 1 and stuff like that, I never use the controller, so I'm all over the place with it. Even touch control on there, you can spin out on that corner. I have to admit, that happened a lot in the previous F1 games. I've never understood that, but there's me letting my teammate past, and of course that's one of the first things you need to do, is let your teammate pass so he can go on to win the race, and you take one for the team. Graphically really nice. I found this Formula 2 car really difficult to get used to at first.
You made the right call for the team. Now we're all with you. Just bring it home as best you can.
I was just letting the radio chat come in there. Right call for the team, and so then you work your way up through the order, overtaking guys gradually. I'm cutting this race. We're going to look at one race in full in just a moment, rather than watching all the races. But I just wanted to show you a bit of action there. Just working the way through, and then we're going to cut from this and we're going to move on to the next two races. Only 3 races, and then you work your way into Formula 1. And of course you can race all these online, of course, and I'm sure there'll be some great online multiplayer Formula 2 races. But I enjoyed it. You know, the issue, I had two issues driving these cars. First one was the braking distances were longer, but that wasn't the problem. The problem was the racing line indicator for me was incorrect a lot of the time. It was green. I was driving over green when I actually had to brake long before the red zone, and that was an issue basically. And it's something that I think Codemasters just need to look at in terms of making sure that braking line works, because I was braking when it was staying and I wasn't making the corner, and in the end it was sort of off-putting even having it there. But either way, you know, I wasn't going to change it because it meant pausing the game. But here we are, end sequence. Let's see what they had to say.
Sublime performance to secure the top step of the podium today. Davide, what do you think made the difference here?
I think what won them the race was their ability to adapt. At every point, they delivered what was needed. They were calm and steady when they needed to be, but they were ruthless and aggressive when it was demanded of them. There wasn't anything out there that they weren't prepared to handle. Let's see if they can keep it up this season.
As we can see, it's time for the podium, and I can see the Carlin team underneath our commentary box going crazy as their driver walks out. It was a great win, and it means a great deal to this team. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It was not the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
My driver of the day was Alessio Lorandi. He did a cracking job moving through the field, just showing why he's so highly rated in the paddock.
And now a look at the team standings. Carlin moved to the top of the table. Goodbye for now then. But we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So I cut together a bit of speech rather than showing the end screen, just with a bit of the racing there, just show a bit of replay. Loving the replays. We're going to take a look at this and discuss it a bit in just a moment. But first I had to answer a few questions from the media. Let's see how that works here.
There you are. That was an exciting race. It definitely got people talking about you, which means I was able to secure a quick interview.
Okay, we're all set over here.
Just a minute. Remember, anything you say to the press can go very, very public. So be relaxed, but also be conscious of what you're saying and how it might come across to other people, okay? I think we're ready.
Great. So Emma keeps telling me you're the one to watch this season. If that's true, you'll be doing plenty of these. Just remember, be yourself. And the more you can give me, the better this will go. Right, stand here. Turn a little this way for me. Perfect. Ready? An exciting race today. Let's get your perspective. So you and Lucas are new to the team. How are you settling in? Okay, so how did you feel about being ordered to give up the position to Lucas? Great, well that's everything.
Hey, look, I know that wasn't easy letting me pass, but it was the right choice. It was good driving.
Yeah, that's how I describe it, mate. Just good, not great. 1 in 6. 1 in 6 makes the leap to F1. The other 5 are still watching their less talented teammates collect all their points. Shame, really. A lot of great drivers never get their chance because they do it all for the team.
Those teams got us here.
Yeah, but it's the drivers that take the risk. We should get the rewards. You ever won a race in F1? That's how winners think.
And remind me, how many F1 races have you won?
You watch this space. At the end of this championship, I'll be the one lifting the trophy, and I won't use my teammates to nick the podium.
Okay, I'm out. You believe what you want, Devon, but it's still early days.
He's either very clever or you're just a pushover. You really think if the situation was reversed, he'd do the same for you? You want to start looking out for yourself. No one else will.
Look at them go! Devon Butler locked in wheel-to-wheel racing with his championship rival, desperate to shut them down and stop them getting past. And there's contact! Butler simply left them nowhere to go. There was just no way for them to have avoided that. And look, there's significant damage. Not sure if that was down to recklessness or sheer aggression, but I'm sure the stewards are going to have something to say very shortly.
Don't give up. You're still in this race.
So I enjoyed answering those questions from the media. Quite straightforward. You know, it depends how sensible you want to answer them. You can answer them as a very selfish individual, but I always think that as a, you know, a lot of people have invested in you to reach this stage. You know, you've driven the car, but a lot of people have made that possible. So I always say you thank the team. I'm a team player in that way. And now we're at Austria. And again, just getting used to this. I like the audio. I think the audio on these cars is tremendous. It's got a real sort of solid, sort of robust sound to it that really works, and especially with the gear changes as well. I'm impressed with what they've done here, and it works very well indeed. Well done to the team, just trying to find a way past here. Got on the power a bit slow. He was blocking me into the corner. I should have been more aggressive on entry probably, but that's okay. We're driving here on normal 50% settings, and I have no idea where to brake in these cars, obviously. As I say, the braking line constantly sent me off the course. So I was hitting the brakes when it told me to, or before it even told me to. So I'm braking already on the green because I'm thinking, well, it's not. Yeah, I can understand how it works, but it's not as good as others. Others actually change the colour of the racing line to the way you're driving. They're much more effective. So racing up then, and just braking earlier every time, trying to get those car into those corners. Surprisingly, even with traction control, the car probably will spin out. I was driving it as if there wasn't traction control. I was just being progressive through the corner and enjoying that experience. And of course, you've got the bit of chat with the other drivers, bit of rivalry. I think that, you know, in a way I kind of feel it's quite accurate actually. You know, you've got to remember that there's a lot of these drivers. Some of them are good drivers. Some of them are billionaires' sons who have just walked there and never really, they've been given the best of everything and may even walk all the way into Formula One. They just couldn't care less. So you've got a real alteration, you know, in terms of people there. I mean, everyone who's got to this point has a lot of money behind them, but some have had a much easier road than others, and that's why you do get people with various different attitudes and approaches and abilities working their way up in motorsport. You know, you have to be talented to a point, but you'd be surprised what a little bit of talent and a lot of money can do in terms of opportunity. And so coming around the final corner now, across the line, and then go back to the commentary.
Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
It's a well-deserved victory for Dams then, after that breathtaking race. So, Davide, what did you make of that?
Well, it was a bit of a roller coaster, I think. There will be a lot of cheering for today's winner. Frankly, I'm amazed that Devon Butler only received a penalty for that collision earlier. But watching the rival he knocked out actually come back and beat him, that made this whole race worthwhile for me.
Dams, another team with a huge amount of history based right in the heart of motorsport near Le Mans in France, have once again shown their formidable abilities out on the track with yet another win today. After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the driver's table. The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race for our championship leader. Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
It's got to be Nairei Fukuzumi. He was in another league for me today. Really impressive.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you there. Take care.
So a quick look at the replay in Austria, and I left you a bit of speech there. Obviously there's a bit of chat after the race, and I just wanted to leave those sequences in here for you guys to hear it and enjoy it. This is the PC version you're seeing running here, and it is fantastic. I think it looks really stunning. There is one thing missing from the cars though, one really irritating thing missing for me from these replays, and I will highlight this to Codemasters, is the lack of suspension movement, lateral suspension movement through the car, through corners. So when you're taking to a corner like this, you're leaning on the tyres, so you're having tyre flex, you're leaning on suspensions, bit of body roll, and you can really tell when there's bumps, car's moving on its suspension, it's moving on its tyres, and it's leaning on the corners. You can tell when someone's really leaning on the car, they're pushing the car really hard. I find that in these replays, cars are very solid. You'll see it's quite a bit in the replays. The cars are just solid on their suspension, their tyres, and there's no kinds of body roll or anything like that there. It's they're just very solid indeed, and these are very solid cars in real life. The movement you see in the car is limited, but as someone who's watched this sport for a long time, been a fan of motorsport, it's something that just stands out to me, because you just see that body language of the car when somebody's really pushing, and I find you can't hear. The car's quite rigid, so it's definitely something that in terms of replays, maybe it's a limitation with memory, or maybe the next gen we're really going to see that come together. Certainly I don't think that's going to be a problem in terms of performance and memory. I mean, literally the graphics we have now, touched up with all the various physics enhancements like that, could just look stunning. I mean, it already is fantastic to see. And I mentioned in the video featuring Nico Hulkenberg last night that, as I commentate this, that you know, it's the steps forward have been huge this year, and the investment has clearly improved from where it was 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, the transition to PS4 was clearly not an easy one, and it's taken time for Codemasters to bring all these elements together. And again, I mentioned F1 esports, but replays do look fabulous. This is the sort of stuff of dreams when I was racing on F1 97 as Damon Hill around this circuit, and pushing so hard when this circuit came back on the calendar, and it just reminds me of doing that. It just wonderful to see. So for me, it's nothing but a joy going around some of these tracks and remembering what it's been and where we're coming from. We can still do a bit more in the way of rubber laid and on the tarmac. I still think the tarmac's a bit plain, so there's certainly a lot of rubber and detail they could lay on that. And race day, a lot more detail than that on the track in terms of various rubber. It's better from that view than it is from the others in the T-cam. There's much there, but there is a lot of rubber into these braking zones, and it highlights where the bumps are in the road as well. So when there's a bump, you'll see the rubber, the sort of blacks intensify and stuff like that. Adds a lot. Also, feeling of speed, and that, of course, that's where your car's going to bottom out as well on those particular corners. But no, I just wanted to show off a bit of the replay. Very much enjoyed this, and then I'm going to continue on with the career. And of course, the next race is going to be Abu Dhabi. We're going to have to compete, go there, and I'm going to look at the entire race this time rather than cutting it out. But I just wanted to share with you guys some of this replay stuff. Absolutely brilliant. So let's see how we get on in the next stage.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. Well, that was a great recovery today. Did you think it was all over when you had the collision with Devon? So did you ever think you'd get the place back from Devon? I've seen that you and Lucas have been picking up a lot of points recently. What do you think of your championship chances? Great. Well, that's everything.
I was looking for you. Well, what can I say? I guess there's no other way to put this, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry for ever giving you the common respect that all racers deserve, because you don't deserve it, neither of you do. That was the dirtiest driving I've ever seen.
Ridiculous.
I thought exactly. I'm taking my line and I get smashed into? I'm fine, by the way, thanks for asking. And then I'm penalized for the privilege.
You're unbelievable. You deserved every second of that penalty, maybe more. I mean, aside from trashing the car, did you ever stop to think that maybe someone could get hurt?
Yeah.
Me? Fine, but winning at any cost is your strategy, not ours. You better watch yourself.
Whatever.
Don't let him get in your head. He knows you're a better driver. So, on the track, stay away from him. He will try to force you into contact. That's how he wins, yeah? Let's get ready for the press briefing.
So here we are in Abu Dhabi. Each and every event in the Formula 2 calendar has led us here to this, the final event of the championship, and one that promises to be a spectacle every bit as exciting as we might have hoped. Yas Island Circuit is a 3.4-mile racetrack built on the man-made Yas Island. In addition to the 21 corners, it features 2 very long straights. Now these will be the drivers' main overtaking chances today into turn 8 and turn 11. Joining me for one last time here this year is Davide Valsecchi. Davide, I'm glad you're here because I think I'm going to need help processing all this. Surely, this is as exciting as it gets.
Yeah, you're right, Alex. It's the perfect finale. 2 drivers, rivals of season, now going into the final race tied on points, both way out in front at the top of the standings. Meaning whichever of these 2 drivers cross the line first will be crowned champion. I can't wait.
Okay, this is it. Last race of the season. All you have to do is finish in the points ahead of Devon, and the next time we see each other, you'll be the F2 World Champion. No pressure then. Good luck.
All the drama of the start. I really like seeing the Mercedes and the grid packed with people. The sense of occasion they've given it this time really has moved forward a lot, and now we see the racing action continues at Abu Dhabi, of course, and it's a circuit I know well, so I'm just braking much earlier than I normally would. Quite tricky through these first corners. I find these cars very understeery. I've not found a sweet spot with the handling at this point with the controller. I'm not completely comfortable with the car in terms of where is the speed, but either way, working my way through and just trying to discover it every time that, you know, where to find a bit more speed. I find that you need to keep throttle through the corner and be progressive on the exit. It's very much if you lose the revs, I find the car does slow a lot on the exit of corners. Brave on the brakes when you can be, and just generally getting the car into the apex early on, you know, and then progressively on the power on the exits. So slow in, fast out definitely works with these cars. I get a bit of a penalty here just on the outside. I think looking at it again, it was probably a bit harsh, but there you go. There wasn't really much for me to do there. Trying to find some space. I was alongside, but there you go. And just getting on my way now. I know that I've got a 2-second penalty. I really need to get on with it and improve. So generally just enjoying this racing. It's nice to finally see some of it. Like you say, not long now till many of you own the game, and I'm sure lots of people all over the web are going to be racing it. I'm away from my base camp for a while, which is why you're seeing this controller play. When I get back, I'm going to jump on the wheel and then turn off all the assists and gradually start understanding these cars and putting in a whole bunch of laps, and maybe I'll do a couple of streams of me learning, and you can see me spinning out everywhere trying to figure it out and giving you guys my feedback as I do learn, and that will probably be next week. But it's been a busy week with E3 and all the content that's been coming up on the channel. It has been a crazy week, and for those of you that are still watching this video, I thank you for all of your comments and your feedback. It's difficult keeping up the comments now. There are literally thousands of comments appearing every day, so I do my best, and if you don't get a response, please don't take that personally. It really is just impossible to keep up with them all at the moment, but it's been great to get so much activity on the site. So many great racing games on the way. I've got this long straight now where I close on this chap, and again I rely on this racing line. For the last time I follow this racing line and I say, you know what, I'm not going to use it again. I'm braking long before I got to the red area as far as I was concerned, and yeah, and I thought after that, do you know what, I'm just going to ignore it now. I'm just going to race around, ignore it, and I should have just paused the game and turned it off, because it was not helpful for me. Yeah, that's been it for this race. And then this race now, the rest of the race for me really is about trying to just understand it better and better and try different things out. I go through corners too fast, I go through corners too slow, I get on the power slowly, I get on the power quickly, and just trying things out to try and understand these cars. They're very different to drive compared to the Formula 1 cars themselves, but either way, enjoyed it immensely. I'll be watching the Paul Ricard race, of course, this weekend. You had all the drama recently of the Vettel and Hamilton incident. I know a lot of people were saying, oh, well, forget about it and move on. I think the problem is that may be the incident that ends the entire season, frankly, in terms of competitiveness. It's certainly almost impossible for Ferrari to come back from that at the moment. Mercedes' dominance is, as usual, just impossible to beat, and I really hope that Ferrari can find something that can take it to Mercedes, but it does seem like a long shot at this stage. And if they can, who knows, we'll get to Abu Dhabi later this year and we could see some action, but I think it could all be all over sometime before that. But that's it from me for now. I'm going to leave you with a bit of the racing now and a bit of the commentary and the content at the end. At the end of this video, you're going to see me agree to join a Formula 1 team, and the Formula 1 team I agree to join as well. In future videos, perhaps I'll be just having a quick race with them and seeing how I get on. Again, I'm using the controller, I'm not great with it, but we'll be turning off this racing line for sure. For me, the racing line is very unhelpful, so I won't be using it again. But that's it from me for now. Enjoy the rest of this video, and as ever, there'll be more from me very soon.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap for the race. fastest lap of the race so far. Gap to teammate behind is 8.6 seconds. Devon is in P3. Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
There were questions at the start of the season as to whether they could really go all the way, but there's no question anymore. What a special year it's been, and here they are, the new Formula 2 World Drivers' Champion. So as they climb out of the car, the Carlin team are ready and waiting to celebrate a thoroughly deserved win. Talk to me, Davide. Was it everything you hoped for?
Everything and more. He had it all. The rival, the tension, the excitement. These two drivers have been locked in fierce competition all season. And to see it comes down to head-to-head battle for the line like this, well, this kind of things doesn't happen very often. Devon put in a good performance throughout the championship, but today the accolade goes to his rival and the new Formula 2 champion.
That result also seals the Formula 2 World Championship title. Congratulations to our winner after an incredible season. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
It's a difficult one, but I got to go for the Carlin driver. They did a great job at getting the most of the tires without losing pace. That's a good skill to have.
So then, Carlin have done it. This result seals their victory, and they are team champions at last. And after all that excitement, I think it's time for a lie down. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
First of all, congratulations. You must be thrilled. Wow, you're the driver's champion. How does it feel? So that was a thrilling end to the season. How was the race for you? Wow, we've been hearing rumours of a possible future for you in Formula One. Care to comment? Appreciate your time.
Congratulations, mate. F2 champion.
Hey, congratulations. Enjoy it, because it's the last time it'll ever happen.
Devon, it's okay to be upset. You came very close.
Yeah, we know things would have turned out very differently if I didn't get slapped with that ridiculous penalty.
What is it with you and complaining?
Look, somehow you managed to do a lot of things right today. That's great. You needed the win, I didn't. For me, this was always just a stepping stone to F1. Oh, you two. You got your work cut out for you now that I'm gone. See, you're going to have to prove to everyone it was more than just luck that got you here.
Sure. Winning one race is luck. Winning the championship is talent.
Really? Next time you use that incredible talent to ram into someone and steal all their points, remember they won't be as forgiving as I am. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I gotta run. Things to sign, important paperwork and all that. I'm sure you understand. Ciao!
So, with this big win, you're going to be getting a lot of interest. All I can say is choose wisely, or else you might end up with someone like Devon as your teammate. Come on, let's go celebrate.
Ah, welcome. Come on in. Take a seat. It's time we had the big conversation about your next move. Your performance at the F2 Championships last year got you a lot of attention from the Formula One teams. Some of it more positive than others. I'm not so concerned with who does or doesn't like you. You'll have plenty of time to win the doubters over. But I am concerned with our choices. They're narrowing as we haven't shown commitment to anyone. Now, as your agent, my advice is to make your decision now. We can worry about comfort and finer points further down the line. I need you to review these. You've earned every single one of these proposals. So take your time, have a read through, and don't get too hung up on specifics. Let's get you a Formula One seat. Excellent choice. From my conversations with them, they're going to be very excited to pursue this opportunity with you. I'll let them know our intentions immediately. I'll have to clean up some final details with them, but that's what you pay me for. Other than that, congratulations. You've earned it.
Oh, hey, you're here. I'll catch up with you. Sorry, I'm just on my way out, but your workstation's at the back over there. It should be all set up on the network, but let the guys know if it isn't. From there, you can access all the data you need to help us direct development of the car. Get yourself settled, and then head out to practice when you're ready. I'll catch up with you later, okay?
Welcome to your new team. McLaren are one of the most successful teams in the sport, and they've reinvented themselves over the past few years. They demand excellence from all areas of their organization, and they'll expect you to integrate yourself and get up to speed from the first race.